have any wide receiver thing ever look at him and think, I think that guy could be a receiver? Or do you remember viewing him as a quarterback back then?
Both. You always evaluate the player for the position that he's playing, but then I was trained in a way where you got to look at where can this player have the most effect on a football team. I remember him coming out of high school and catching a jump ball in the corner of the end zone and thinking, wow, that's impressive. So then you move forward and you know, the guy goes to college and makes a lot of big things happen, and you're thinking, wow, this guy's a phenomenal athlete. Not only did he do it at high school at a high level, he did it at college at a high level. And then you've seen glimpses and flashes of athleticism in the pros when he's had the ball in his hands as a quarterback, and you're like, there's more there than meets the eye. You should give him an opportunity to put it all together.
And I don't mean that we cover Ohio State, so we're asking you a bunch of Ohio State specific questions. I don't want to be myopic about this, but you've been around the league for a long time. Everybody in the NFL has huge talent, or they wouldn't be there. Like, where does his talent, like, you know, at Ohio State we see is like 6'6", he runs like a, you know, like.
All of that is still there.
I mean, is it pretty, I mean,
it's obvious. It's evident that God sprinkled a little more dust on him than the rest of us, or a lot of us. He's tall, he's big, he's fast, he's agile. He makes it look real easy, even though he's just recently come into playing wide receiver. He makes it look easy. He's smooth. He glides when he runs. And I said this in a previous interview. As a former quarterback, those guys catch the ball a lot. They just constantly play catch.
Yeah.
So his hands are really naturally soft and good. So like the catching aspect of it, the running routes aspect of it, the natural athletic. I mean, there's a lot of pieces there for him to kind of just naturally gather up, and it projects to being a guy that could possibly make the transition easy.
Were you wondering, as he was moving through the league and left Raiders and he wound up with the Bengals, were you sort of watching, waiting for him to make a decision, I'm not going to be a quarterback anymore? Like, when you bring a guy, take a risk on a guy to take a shot at him, did he have to make a decision first, okay, I'm done with quarterback, before you would have done that?
Yeah, you make, again, everybody wants to know kind of what's the expectation. So coming in the door, I never want to sign a player and him have no idea what the expectations are.
Okay.
The same was true with Terrelle. Before we made the decision to sign him and move down that road, it was, here's our plan, here's what we're thinking. If you're interested, great. If you're not, just let us know.
Okay.
So I think for me anyway, that's been my history with 99% of the guys that we go down the road with. Here's our plan. Now, inevitably there are guys that it may shift once you get your hands on them, you get to see them in your camp. But in this case, it was definitely predetermined.
If he is able to make it tomorrow, with everything that happened at Ohio State, what do you think the reception is going to be like for him within the stadium?
I don't know. That'll be interesting. I think it's always interesting to see how fans respond. In some respects, you could say that in some cases you can get glorified and then people cheer, clap, and yell. And in other instances, I've seen guys get booed. I don't know. It's up to the individual of how they treat, of how they respond.
Because he's like spoken about that he's excited to come back, and he still thinks that Ohio State's his home. So it's interesting that I know it's a Browns scrimmage, but it's at Ohio State, so there's probably going to be a lot of Ohio State and Cleveland fans there. So is it kind of like getting it not in the way, but if he's not even for sure if he's going to be there because of his hamstring injury, but like, do you think that that's kind of like taking away of like the Browns scrimmage and Ohio State?
Oh no, I don't think it's taken away. Again, like I said, fans respond in the way that they respond. But I will say from our end of it, it's exciting to give guys those kind of opportunities. I think there's a lot of guys that are excited just about playing in the shoe because it is at Ohio State, because they did win the national championship. There's a lot of buzz just in and of itself just around that fact. So I don't think it's singular to Terrelle Pryor. A lot of guys are excited about coming down and seeing what Columbus really has to offer from the team perspective.